Basement, level vibes with another one, straight up, blackness aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, we have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention. Education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Benskop upon the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and on the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal him. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop.
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cop, and what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data. I have none.
Yeah, this is the elite team, the root team, strong team.
Number one,
PPP team. Yeah, you understand? PPP all the way.
You could probably, on the maritime area, give Venezuela a channel out to the sea. So you make a slight concession in the maritime area.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
I've lived in Guyana and I've attended multilateral school. And for my primary days in school to secondary school, I've learned and I've understood that Guyana covers 83 square miles of landmass. I didn't hear that.
Right across Ghana, when the ministers of Granger or Nagamutu come here after the 21st of March, you say to them, walk behind them, chase them out, they're going to be illegal. Say to them, you're...
If you just know you're that girl,
Yeah.
you just have no choice but to be that girl. And I feel like I'm
More or a border. And from someone, a low life like that, you is more or a border. And from someone, a low life like that, you is more or a border. And from someone, a low life like that, you
Miss Mark, I believe every word of what Mr. Shu is saying. I am also afraid of a Mr. Shu. Mr. Shu, if you are listening, I don't want anybody to harm you. This is a serious thing. Corruption is big. And we Chinese have to stop that. Been bullied by Jack Dale and other government.
you could probably, on the maritime area, give Venezuela a channel out to the sea.
So, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
All right, hey, guess what? 14 minutes after 9 o'clock in Georgetown, Guyana. Well, it's not just 14 minutes after 9 o'clock in Georgetown, Guyana. It's 14 minutes after 9 o'clock throughout Guyana. 83. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? 83,000 square miles. 83,000 square miles. Can somebody just remind this guy who is squatting? Yes, he is squatting as the acting commissioner of police, way past his retirement age. And so he is squatting in this position at this time. Here why he is squatting, because the PPP is comfortable with him there. They want him to do the dirty works of the PPP. That is what it's about. Do not be fooled. They are not concerned about a professional police force. It's all about corruption, 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 and persecuting political opponents. That is what they are about. The PPP has a history of doing just that. Good evening to all of you, and welcome to Straight Up. Thank you for sharing the link. These guys are not concerned about going after individuals who they should go after. Look, he's posing there with Asruddin Mohammed, a guy who loves to pompous his wealth, overnight wealth in Guyana. But the corrupt senior members of the Guyana police force, you're not going to go after these guys. These are guys who, according to reports, are wanted by U.S. law enforcement agencies on many, many crimes, from terrorism to money laundering to gold smuggling to drug dealing to assassinations and all these different things. But guess what? They're not going to go after those guys because they're all part and parcel. They're all part of the same top team. That is what it's about. It is not about good governance. It is not about running a country that should be run in a manner that is basically conducive in what is considered to be democratic values. No, it's not. It's all about corruption and corruption and corruption and corruption. That is what it's about. And remember the revelations coming out of this guy, Detective Sergeant Dion Bascom. Detective Sergeant Bascom exposed the guy in the police force, but what? They didn't try to investigate. Instead of investigating, they called a big press conference to cover up the corruption and all manner of things. And guess what? They ended up charging this guy, Dion Bascom, charged him, interdicted him, and all manner of things because, according to them, he got to shut up. It's not that what he was saying didn't make sense. It made a heck of a lot of sense because what he said, most John and Jane public knew exactly what was going on. And so the country is so corrupt under the PPP regime. That is what it is. Corruption upon corruption upon corruption. We saw it. We heard it. It is all glaring right in front of our faces. And so anyone who goes out in public, any political opponent who challenges this corrupt, installed, racist PPP regime, guess what they do? They go after them. Good evening and welcome to Straight Up. That is what the PPP is about. And let me say this to you guys in John and Jane public there in Guyana. Do not be intimidated. Do not be afraid of those criminals in high offices. Just do not, because that is how dictators operate. They lose certain corrupt members, and we know the corrupt members of the Guyana police force. And this is not to say all members of the Guyana police force are corrupt. No, but we know who the corrupt ones are. We know those who are being paid by the political servants, those in high echelons of the PPP, to basically run a corrupt police force and by extension, a corrupt country. That is what is happening under the PPP regime. Let's not be fooled. You've got to stand strong. And of course, during this process, they are going to target the political opponents. They are going to target the ones who are very effective. They are going to target the ones who are penetrating them all over. That is what they do. That is precisely what dictators do. Dictators, mind you, dictators want you to shut up. You must basically fall in line with them and their narratives and their rhetoric and their propaganda. And when you don't fall in line with that, then they ostracize you. They find ways to go after you. They find ways to persecute you. And they're not concerned about whether the persecution is going to stick or not. Their concern is to approach these things from a wicked and vindictive standpoint. And citizens must become aware of regimes of that sort. And when regimes get out of hand, guess what they do? As what we have witnessed in Guyana under the PPP regime. They kill their opponents. They charge and jail their opponents. Their opponents flee Guyana and go into exile. Their opponents disappeared. Many folks have disappeared, and we don't know where they are right now. That is a dangerous country. Right now, all they're concerned about in Guyana is not about democracy. It's not about running a country where everyone can feel free and comfortable. And here's where we've got to give the coalition government a salute for taking Guyana in the right direction. Guyana right now is in a mess. Every agency is corrupt. Every agency has a puppet. And if they don't have a puppet, the few who appear or who want to appear to be independent are afraid to do their constitutional duties. And this is where Guyana is currently. It is a dangerous, dangerous country right now under the PPP regime. Good evening to all of you. We have lots to talk about. I know we're not going to talk about corruption in the DPP chambers. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about tonight how the Ministry of Education has failed the people of Guyana. No, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about the corruption at Guyana Elections Commission. We're not going to talk about that. No, we're not going to talk about the acres upon acres of lands that were given to Irfan Ali by Bara Jagdeo. We're not going to talk about that tonight. No, we're not going to talk about 20 young school children who died in a fire as a result of neglect by the PPPC regime. We're not going to talk about that tonight. Neither are we going to talk about the Home Affairs Permanent Secretary whose phone was confiscated by U.S. authorities. No, we're not going to talk about that, because if we talk about all these sorts of things, guess what? The PPP get upset. They are upset with these sort of things. And no, we're not going to talk about this so-called security firm with their gun-hungry individuals beating up on citizens, and nothing has happened. No, we're not going to talk about that. No, we're not going to talk about Azruddin Mohammed was once under investigation there for the murder of Paper Shorts. No, we're not going to talk about that. Lots of things we can talk about, but those are some things we're not going to be talking about as of now. And no, we're not going to talk about the fact that Jagdeo is known to be in the company of Death Squad and Phantom Squad members and so forth. No, we're not going to talk about that, guys. Neither are we going to talk about these people who have been persecuted for over 3 years now on trumped-up charges that they interfered with the 2020 general and regional elections. No, we wouldn't be talking about that. No, we wouldn't be talking about that. And no, we wouldn't be talking about tonight about Jagdeo, the allegations leveled against him by Sue, and the fact that, guess what? A new news agency went into Guyana, and you know what they did? They interviewed Sue, they interviewed Jagdeo, they got Jagdeo on video. All manner of things happening, all manner of corruption upon corruption upon corruption upon corruption in Guyana under the PPP regime, under this corrupt PPP regime. And no, we're not going to talk about frivolous elections results, and of course that Claudette Singh actually presided over the corruption at the Guyana Elections Commission. No, we're not going to talk about that tonight. And if you take a look at this list here, 61 dead voters, 4,864 absent voters, 150 stuffed, not stuffed turkey, stuffed ballot boxes, 47 ballot boxes without documents, 1,278 missing oaths of identity. Oh no, we're not going to talk about that at all. Not tonight. We're certainly not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about this Reuters special report that says here, U.S. probing Exxon contractor in Guyana for smuggling, drugs, gold, etc., etc. No. We are not going to talk about that at all. At least not tonight. At least not tonight. We are not going to talk about that. Not tonight. What do you guys think we should talk about tonight? You tell me. You talk to me. You guys talk to me. What should we talk about tonight? I don't know. Should we talk about the fact that this guy wanted to give away Guyana to Venezuela? Should we really be talking about that? You tell me. Tell me. Should we really be talking about that? Should we talk about the fact that they've insulted the members of the Guyana Defense Force, insulted those members of the Guyana Defense Force? Talk to me. Should we be talking about that? Should we remind you guys what happened to Brian Max and the fact that he was badly beaten by PPP thugs after he spoke out about Jack Dale and the PPP? This is Brian Max. This is not ketchup on his face or makeup or whatever. He was badly beaten. Should we talk about that? Should we talk about the fact that this guy, Malcolm Harry Paul, was targeted, locked up, and trumped up charges leveled against him for speaking the truth? Should we talk about that? All of these things, my friends, all of you who are watching this program tonight, all of these things are happening or have happened under the PPP regime, under the corrupt PPP regime. Somebody's saying talk about Tony Hack. Let's not get distracted tonight, please. Okay? Thank you. Tonight is not a night for distraction or any silly comments. It's just not the night for that. But should we be talking about this here? Should we? A man who spoke the truth and the PPP went after him. Malcolm Harry Paul, a man who served his country, left as a lieutenant of the Guyana Defense Force. All because he said, let the PPP supporters join the Guyana Defense Force and fight for the country. What is wrong with that? What is so wrong with that? That they feel that everybody got to sing their same old tune, the same PPP tune. Who wants to do that? And if you don't do that, guess what? They come after you. They threaten you and all manner of things. That's them. That's what they do. That is what these vagabonds, these crooks in the PPP regime, that is what they do. And folks must be able to stand up and say no to the PPP. Enough of this nonsense. Enough is enough. What else is bothering you guys tonight? What else can we talk about tonight? Can we talk about a lame duck guy who sits there as a so-called prime minister who doesn't do a goddamn thing for the nation? Should we talk about that? Should we talk about the waste of taxpayers' monies to go and sit and sign some frivolous agreement called the Argyle document or whatever the heck they call it, over in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, presided by a man who is known to be a criminal in his country there in St. Vincent and the Grenadines? Should we talk about that? Where they went and nothing, absolutely nothing was achieved, but they want everybody to sing the same tune to pretend as though everything or a lot was achieved. And we must put our differences aside and embrace the corrupt, racist PPP because Venezuela wants a piece of Guyana. And why Venezuela wants a piece of Guyana? Take a look why. Jack Dale says, make concession to Venezuela. That is what Jack Dale said in 2015. Jack Dale said, make concession to Venezuela. He said it. I didn't say it. Sue didn't say it. Auntie Data didn't say it. Jack Dale said it.
You could probably, on the maritime area, give Venezuela a channel out to the sea. So you make a slight concession in the maritime area.
So Jack Dale is the one who said that. Should we talk about that? Or should we talk about the fact that he described a female member of the opposition as a lowlife? Jack Dale said it. And these kunumunus in the PPP. They're allowed to, these criminals in the PPP regime, they're allowed to do anything, say anything, and describe people in all sort of manner that they feel fit. And people must sit down and accept that. There must be no political opponent. There must be no opposition to them. There must be no one speaking out on social media, on the radio or television. That is what they want Guyana to be, that people must live in fear, in standing up and confronting these kunumunus in the PPP, these criminals in the PPP, these dictators in the PPP. And you know what dictators do? We know what they do because we know what they have done under the PPP regime. It is not just about calling Catayus and others low-life.
Even more our border. And from someone, a low-life like Catayus.
It's not just about that. And as we go down in the history in terms of what the PPPC has done, look, let's take a look at this here. This happened under Jack Deo's regime. 18-year-old boy, Kevin, I believe his name, 18-year-old boy. He now, he flee Guyana with his family, had to run away from Guyana. Guess why? Let me see if you guys remember this story. Look at 18-year-old man from the hood, so to speak. He spent, I want you guys to listen to this. He spent weeks, not hours, not a day, not 2 days. He spent weeks in prison, weeks in jail. Guess for what, guys? I want you guys to, let me see if you guys know what's going on. Weeks. Come on, guys. I'm just giving you the breakdown here about this corrupt, racist, dictatorial PPP regime. Weeks, this young man, weeks. His last name is not Weeks, you know, like Andrew Weeks. Weeks in prison. Weeks in prison he spent in jail, guys. Not breakdown lockup. Weeks. You guys got it? You guys got it? Weeks. Where is Tony Hack? Come on, Tony Hack. Let's get back on track, my brother. Weeks in jail as a young man, never gone to prison, never did anything wrong, nothing at all. This guy should have gotten a national award. Guess what he did? Not in 2019. I merely made that post in 2019 to remind people about how Guyana was corrupt under the PPP regime. Jack De's regime, Donna Ramatar's regime, and now under this Kunumunu installed regime. Now, this is what this young man allegedly did. Allegedly. Jack Deo and his men were driving along the East Coast public road, somewhere maybe in the vicinity of Sparendam. The motorcade apparently was driving recklessly. This young man, like every other young man, will be kids. Kids will be kids. The youngster allegedly showed the passing motorcade of Barra Jack Deo, showed the middle finger. Is this the middle finger? Yeah, showed the middle finger. Showed his middle finger. The police, the escort vehicle for Jack Dale stopped, reversed, and ordered, mind you, ordered that the police at Sparendam lock this young man up. Lock him up. Lock him up. Guess what? Lock him up for what? All because he allegedly showed Jack Dale his middle finger. Showed Jack Dale his middle finger. That's exactly what happened. And so the young man, guess what? The young man was locked up for weeks. Never went to jail, never anything. When he goes to court, the magistrate kept remanding him. Same Sparendam police station, remanding him and remanding him and remanding him to prison until we got involved, until we ensured that he was freed. This young man is currently out of the country, maybe in the US or Canada. He's out of the country right now. They placed him on $5,000 bail after spending weeks at the Camp Street prison. Compliments of Barrett Jackdale, all because he allegedly showed his middle finger. He didn't stuck his middle finger up in front of Jackdale's face. The passing motorcade. How many of you guys have done that? Whether in the United States, anywhere, your middle finger, you flip it. It's a crime in Guyana if you flip your middle finger at that dictator, Barrett Jackdale. You flip it and you spend weeks in prison. Weeks. Just to remind you guys about the corrupt, racist PPP regime. Racist PPP regime under Barrett Jackdale. But look, that is not all. People are charged with kilos upon kilos of drugs. People smuggle tons upon tons of cocaine out of Guyana. They're not exposed, they're not charged, and they operate with business as usual. Disguise themselves as legitimate businessmen. Some of them probably are part of the private sector commission. Who knows? But look what they did under the PPP again. 19-year-old jail for 2 years. 2 years. Guess for what? A single bullet. One bullet. 2 years for one bullet. So if this young man now walking the streets and you kick and you see a bullet shell, a spent shell, you see a bullet, and out of curiosity, you pick it up. 2 years in jail for that. No community service, no probation, no warning, no nothing, but 2 years in prison for that. 2 years, guys. 2 years. Take a look at this woman. Let me see if you guys know her name. For those of you guys who have been following, reading, and understand the corrupt PPP regime. Let me see if you know. I'll take a 30 seconds break and see if you guys know this woman and what she was charged for under the PPP regime.
Yeah, my name is Jasmine Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data. I have none.
You could probably, on the maritime area, give Venezuela a channel out to the sea. So you make a slight concession in the maritime area
All right, guys, sorry about that. And so this is what we're looking at. Carol Ann Monroe, trumped up treason charge, trumped up treason charge, trumped up treason charge. She spent over 1 year in solitary confinement. 1 year in solitary confinement, kidnapped, taken away from her family, her young kids. She and her husband, Bruce, and another warrant officer of the Guyana Defense Force on a trumped up treason charge. No evidence, no nothing, absolutely nothing under the PPP regime. This woman slept on a bare concrete cell under dreadful conditions at the New Amsterdam prison, shackled. You don't see drug lords or these other money launderers in these sort of conditions, but no, shackled. Majority of people in society in Guyana were quiet about this situation. Quiet. All under the PPP regime. I repeat, all under the PPP regime. But that's not all. Take a look at this. How many of you guys remember this? This is a little boy, a 19-year-old, all teenagers, mind you, teenagers. Not to forget the little indigenous boy. I think he was either 14 or 15. His name is Theon Thomas, who his genitals actually burnt badly. But this is a different story. This guy, look at his hand. Look at his hand. He was tortured at the Sparendam police station. Tortured at the Sparendam police station under the PPP regime. They don't want you to talk about their things. They don't want you to expose them. They want you to sing praises. And that's all. But tonight we're reminding you about the corrupt PPP regime. This guy was placed, Constable Forrester was placed under close arrest for this matter. But this guy was burnt by members of the Guyana Police Force at Sparendam Police Station. Guess what? They might say, oh, Ben Sharp and propaganda and all, man. But this guy won his civil case. He won his case. All under Barra Jack Deal, all under the PPP regime. But these people have no moral authority to sit there and talk about decency, to talk about professionalism, to talk about democracy. None whatsoever they have. And you know, one of the things they don't like is when they are exposed. But we here at 107.1 FM just don't give a damn about how they feel. We will continue to expose them by every and any legal means necessary. Now let's get back. This was Sparendam police station. They burnt this guy. They tortured him. Immediately after that, I was there. So I know with the family, the guy talked his story, have him on video. He spoke his story to me. He spoke his story to his lawyer. But that's not it though. It's not the end. Remember this guy here spent weeks in the Camp Street prisons, weeks for allegedly showing his middle finger to a passing motorcade of that dictator, Barra Jack Deal. Passing motorcade, the guy flip, oh, however you flip. You guys can flip in the audience, it's okay. But he spent weeks in prison, weeks, until a few of us intervened. Sorry about that. Weeks in prison until a few of us intervened. But look, this guy spent weeks for flipping his finger. And look at this. You guys tell me what you think of this. When I just reminded you guys that a little boy, a teenager, spent weeks, not hours, not days, but weeks in the Camp Street prisons for allegedly flipping his finger at a passing motorcade, Barra Jack Deal. But look at this guy. just out from voting, when asked, did you vote? And look, you've got to vote with which one of your fingers. Let me see if you guys know what's going on. But he was allowed to vote with his middle finger. His middle finger. I see people are saying bicycle thief, bicycle thief, bicycle thief. Who is it that they're calling bicycle thief? It couldn't be me. It's not me. I'll call him bicycle thief. Not me. I don't know. Who are you guys calling bicycle thief? Not me. Is it this one on the screen? But look at how he voted. And in front of the media, these guys have no class. They have no shame. None whatsoever. Absolutely none. And these are the Pakus. These are the criminals who are in office. PPP criminals who are in office. Take a look at what's going on in Guyana. How you voted. This is how you voted, right? This is how you vote. Middle finger in y'all. But a little boy, a teenager spent weeks in prison. Weeks in prison. Just for that. Good. So you guys see there, right? It's since then, 2014, the Guyana police force was acting up. Acting up. And because this guy protested, and many of you, in case you probably can't remember why he was protesting, Courtney Crummy Wing protesting because of what happened to the Kaichur News staff, and he felt, and rightly so, that they were threatened, their lives were threatened. And so he went in front of Anil's office and he protested and he protested and he protested. And then, not so long after, he was assassinated. I'm just showing you guys exactly what happens under the PPP regime. Somebody's asking if that's me. Yes, that's me standing there next to Courtney Crummy Wing. They assassinated him. And I didn't even mention Ronald Waddles yet. And others who were killed under the PPP regime, the corrupt PPP regime, and others who were jailed under the PPP regime. I just mentioned a few, mind you. Take a look at this now. Take a look at this. Let me see if you guys get the message by now as to how the PPP, the corrupt PPPC, operates. Take a look at this. Do you know this this young woman? She was born 1970. Well, she ain't really that young. 1978. Well, Robin Simon carrying some age there. But good night to Robin Simon. Robin Simon. They put all the lady business out there. Born 1978, the 15th of, what is it, July 15th. Last known address. Lot so-and-so, Haslington. Offense. Look at the offense. Acts of terrorism. Are you guys with me as I paint a picture of a dangerous Guyana? Are you guys with me? The wanted bulletin wasn't just for her. There were about 15 others. Wanted bulletin. You would believe that these people went out there and they committed some sort of, some sort of high-profile crime. That a wanted bulletin bulletins were issued for them. Acts of terrorism. Guess what's the act of terrorism? Protesting and calling for justice. Quentin Bacchus. They were out there, they were protesting, they were calling for justice. They weren't burning roads, they weren't beating up everybody. Nobody was beaten up, sorry. They weren't chasing policemen and beating up policemen. They weren't stoning school buses and all these. They weren't beating nurses up and these things. No, guys. She wasn't, or they weren't doing that. They were protesting, calling for justice for the relatives of Quindon Bacchus, who was murdered by members of the Guyana police force. And so these folks were on the streets protesting. And so when they were out there and they were protesting, they were calling for justice. The PPP didn't like that. The PPP didn't like what they were doing. And you know what they did, right? The PPP, that is. They decided that they don't want to see that sort of embarrassment to the country and to expose the PPP and corrupt members of the Guyana police force. And so they sat down and they worked up a plan that they are going to charge these people. And they're not going to charge them for illegal protest or with illegal protest or nothing of that sort. Nothing, absolutely nothing. They're going to charge them, you know what, right? Acts of terrorism. I repeat, acts of terrorism. Can you guys believe it? I mean, I'm looking at you guys in the comment section. Can you guys believe it? It is how dictators operate. Jack Dew and Irfan and Ramutar and all these guys. That is how they intimidate citizens. What this girl did, this young lady, she's 1978, sorry. What this young lady did and the others did to have a wanted bulletin and to be, what's the act? What's the offense? Acts of terrorism. When individuals are wanted or under investigations in or by law enforcement agencies, some in the US and God knows where else, for terrorism, for money laundering, for drug dealing, and all manner of things. And the PPP is comfortable with those individuals around them disguised as businessmen. But this look what they do to, what's her name? Robin. Look what they did to her and others. Just to silence you guys up in Guyana. That is what dictators do. And the PPP is run by a bunch of vagabonds and dictators. But that's not all. That is not all. Remember this lady? You guys remember her? Or should we not talk about her tonight? You tell me. You tell me, should we not talk about her tonight? Her name is Rhonda Lane. Rhonda Lane was targeted by the PPP regime for so-called silly cybercrime. Everything for these pacos in the PPP is cybercrime. If you tell them, carry the crapo facer, it's cybercrime. But they could tell people anything, any single thing. They could call people low life, hungry belly dog. They could threaten to poison people through vegetables and all manner of things. They could say and do anything. But what this woman did, what this 63-year-old lady did, young lady, 63 because Rhonda said publicly she celebrated her 63rd birthday the other day. What could she have done? The prosecutor in this case, when it was being tried, said that there was no evidence, and this was all in court, that there was no evidence pointing in the direction of this woman. No evidence at all. None whatsoever. But yet the magistrate convicted her. The magistrate convicted her. And guess what? This lady, poor Rhonda, probably had to sell fruity, ice block, mitai, tamrambal to come up with 500,000 Guyana dollars. 500,000 Guyana dollars. Could you believe it? All of this under the corrupt, racist PPP regime. and they don't want people to talk. You mustn't talk. People got to shut their mouth and stay quiet, and that's it. And when you shut your mouth and stay quiet, they're going to love you. They're going to love you, or they're going to give you some drainage contract or something of that sort. Something of that sort. You can't speak out. They want everybody must shut their mouth. Shut their mouth and say nothing. Absolutely nothing. But not me. And I know there are lots of you out there who are not prepared to be muzzled by the corrupt PPP regime. You have a constitutional right to speak out. Just like they have a right to speak out, you also have that right to speak out. Who told Jack Dale that somebody died and gave him prescriptive rights for all 83,000 square miles, and that he's the only one could open, bray? He's the only one could bray, and nobody else could talk. Nobody else could say anything. He's the only one could do this.
Even more our border. And from someone, a low life like that,
He's the only one could say those things. He's the only one could incite people.
Right across Ghana, when the ministers of Granger or Nagamutu come here after the 21st of March, you say to them, walk behind them, chase them out, they're going to be illegal. Say to them, you're illegal. Free up the country, you're undemocratic. They're going to face a different situation right across the country.
They are going to face a different situation right across the country, inciting members of the public to possibly harm the then members of the then government, ministers, harm them. Incitement. That is what he did. So the point is, these are the only set of people could do these things. Like look at what Jerem does. Look at the quality. Look at the type of people in the PPP regime. Not the ordinary voters. The ordinary voters are giving up on them. Every single day, thousands of them are giving up on the PPP. But look how this rascal behaved in India when he was High Commissioner. Guyana's High Commissioner to India.
Are you any better?
No.
You're throwing out a helpless dog?
What helpless dog? I don't need a dog in my yard, all right? Okay. You want a dog, take it, put it between your legs.
You little bastard.
No, you probably want the dog to fuck you. That's what you want. I don't care. I don't care who you are.
I don't care who the hell you are.
Fuck you.
Yeah, dekha.
Now listen to me.
You're drunk. You're
don't
bloody...
let any woman come in my yard.
You're bloody drunk.
Hello. You like the camera?
You don't understand English. Speak in English. Chalo, tum chalo.
You guys heard it, right? Right there. The type of individuals in the PPP regime, the type of people who are running that country right now. Somebody said that this guy is sick. Well, this guy looked sick for a while, behaved as though he's sick. We heard him. We heard him moments ago, and anybody can conclude that he's a sick individual.
Are you any better?
No.
You're throwing out a helpless dog?
What helpless dog? I don't need a dog in my yard, all right? You want a dog, take it, put it between your legs.
You little bastard.
No, you probably want the dog to fuck you. That's what you want. I don't care. I don't care who you are.
I don't care who the hell you are.
Fuck you.
Yeah, dekha.
Now listen to me.
You're drunk. You're
don't
bloody...
let any woman come in my yard.
You're bloody drunk.
Hello. You like the camera?
You don't understand English. Speak in English. Chalo, tum chalo.
Well, it is what it is. And if in fact we're hearing news, we're hearing about what he is, and he's not well, and he knock out and block out. Well, look, I grew up and you hear, oh, we got to this and we got it that and we got to be nice. And look, who got to go along the way, let it go along the way. I have absolutely no time to waste, and I'm not going to pretend it at all, because it is corrupt individuals who have Guyana where it is today. And it is unfortunate that we're back to square one with the level of corruption throughout the country, where people are punishing, thousands of people are punishing, whether they are PPP people, whether they are PNC people, whether they yellow, black, blue, green, or whatever. People are punishing in the country. And those who are the reason for Guyana being in the state that is in right now, corrupting the nation, it is what it is. And if someone says, oh, Mark, Charanas is not well, I'm not bothered about that. There are scores of people out there, maybe some of you who are a little under the weather. Well, I wish you guys a speedy recovery. I have absolutely nothing else to say. No speedy recovery for nobody else. Absolutely. At least when I say nobody else, not this guy. Certainly not this guy. I'm told that he's under the weather. Well, if he's under the weather, well, that's his business. That's not my business at all. But it is what it is. It's his business, not my business at all. Because there's something that's called, there's a big lady that's called, what the big lady called again? Tell me what the big lady called. Because in this life, what goes around comes. Sound like I'm putting RIP, but I'm not putting that. It is what it is. I don't know what happened, but it is karma. And I am going to spell karma correctly. Karma. What goes around comes right back around. What goes around comes right back around. When you stretch your hand to collect money, paycheck, whatever it is you stretch your hand to collect, well, it is what it is. I repeat, folks, it is what it is. Be careful how you stretch your hand to collect money. Be careful. It doesn't matter who you are. Be careful. Tere mamata, kitina pyar dekha, tere mamata, kitina pyar dekha. Oh, sorry, I didn't even realize I was still live for a moment. But let's continue with tonight's program. I honestly, Lemon, I thought Lemon was doing some sort of something, and I didn't even realize that Lemon had me live, and I'm singing a Hindi, a death announcement song in Hindi. Ma tere mama, yeah, was it kitina pyar dekha, kitina pyar, ma tere mama. But let's talk a bit, though, before I go, about this cybercrime. In 2018, I warned the coalition, I warned, and this guy was adamant. The then Minister of National Security, I believe it's our Home Affairs Minister, I warned them in the coalition, and I said to them, I say, hey, guys, here, 1 minute. Let's take a second look. Because back then, they hardly used to listen to people. They were powerful. They don't want to listen. They feel Ben Shop vex, Ben Shop want position, Ben Shop want minister position. Poor me no want no minister position or nothing, but you want right for the country. And so in 2018, I said it was dangerous living under the PPP regime. And most Guyanese were afraid to speak out and confront the murderous Jagdeo government. Imagine then Crime Chief, or Chief Justice Desiree Bernard, instructed the police to take me into her office to explain some he said, she said story about me planning to protest in front of the court. And this is true. I was planning to protest in front of her court, and they ordered me to go and explain to the Chief Justice whether I was planning to protest in front of the court or not. In her chambers, and as I said there in 2008, I bluntly told her that people have a right to protest regardless of how she or anyone felt, and that she would have to lock us all up. Well, I guess from that day, she thought I was a madman. And there are folks who do think that people like myself, like we are mad people, we are insane to be doing what we do, and I'm not beating my own trumpet, but are brave enough to do what we're doing, to stand up for majority of you who are afraid to speak out. And so I told her point blank, I'm not bothered about what she thinks about protest. People have a right to protest, people have a right to speak out, and people have a right to oppose any government, whether they're installed or not. And so, again, just to repeat, in her chambers, I bluntly told her that people have a right to protest regardless of how she or anyone felt, and that she would have to lock all of us up. But I guess from that day, she thought I was a madman. But strangely, the relationship got better over the years. So that was then Chief Justice Desiree Bernard. It is for this reason, and as I conclude here, on not of the show, but this what I'm reading. It is for this reason I wrote back in 2018 that I'm afraid that that Guyana is heading down a dangerous path with the part of the cybercrime bill that will charge citizens for things uttered against the government. I brought this to their attention. I called the then Minister of Home Affairs, Ramjatan, and I said that if ever you guys get out of office, the PPP will use this very clause of the cybercrime bill that was passed under the coalition government, that the PPP will use this very clause to target opponents of the PPP and members of the PNC and AFC. So said, so done. They weren't listening then. And so all of the people that you see who are being targeted today by this corrupt, illegal PPP regime, the bill was the brainchild of Kemraj Ramjatan. Granger, as president, should not have signed this bill into law. But remember the coalition, and remember how a coalition is run. I warned them about this bill. That is why today people like Rhonda Lane can be charged and fined $500,000 because this corrupt PPP regime doesn't want you to speak out against them at all. So this guy, Rickford Burke now, I've noticed that NCN, Chronicle, and all of them, wanted man, Rickford Burke, wanted man. But they're not going to call some of their corrupt members of the PPP regime wanted man. They're not going to put up articles, as in the case with a so-called minister who allegedly raped a little girl, who allegedly did sodomize a little girl and all manner of things. They're not going to put up those sort of things about that. They're not going to put up those sort of things about drug lords who are connected to the PPP. But this guy, Rickford Burke, stands up, speaks out. He does. And the PPP doesn't like it. And so whatever it is that they're accusing him of, and he this and he that and so forth, we've got to be careful because the PPP is notorious when it comes to trumping up charges against people. Some of us are victims of that. Some of us can attest to that sort of victimization. And so they claim now that they want Rickford Burke for sedition. and incitement to commit racial hostility and all manner of things, all manner of things, all manner of things, all manner of things, Jai Shri Khan, all manner of things. This cybercrime bill has come back to haunt opponents of the corrupt PPP regime. I repeat, the cybercrime bill has come back to haunt opponents of the PPP regime. Take a look at Travis Chase. We'll get back to Burke shortly, but take a look at Travis Chase. They seized his firearm, seized his gun, claiming that the spent shell that they found at the scene when his vehicle was shot at, he was shot at. Luckily, he escaped unharmed. But guess what? They seized his firearm. They made a big issue about it in the media, and they quietly gave him back his gun. They said, Travis, it is inconclusive. It doesn't match, basically, it doesn't match anything. Take back your gun, but stay quiet. Shh. Don't tell anybody that we give you back your gun. But when they seized his weapon, they made a big story about it. I'm just giving you guys examples about a corrupt Guyana, an extremely corrupt Guyana. And the people in Guyana are living in what is considered to be dark days. Very, very dark days in Guyana under the PPP regime. Dark, dark days. And we've got to do more than praying for Guyana. After all, the PPP doesn't care about that country. Irfan doesn't care about that country. Jagdev obviously doesn't care about that country. They think that Guyana is their plantation. And all of the people in Guyana are servants, are slaves, either slaves or indentured servants of the PPP regime. And so they want you to prostrate. They want you to bow down. They want you to worship them, that them are God, and that everything that they do, they want you to praise them. And if you praise them, you will be in their good books. But if you dare to confront them and expose them, then you become an enemy. You become an enemy of the state. And when you become that enemy of the state, they find all sort of trumped up charges against you for those who they can charge. And then for those in villages, they discriminate against them. They knock them off from their jobs. They don't give them jobs. They don't give them cash grants. They don't give them absolutely nothing. We cannot have a country. We cannot have a country run by a bunch of vagabonds. Got to pray that come elections time. That is why all of you have to go out. All of you have to go out and vote. But you just can't vote like that. You got to get a good team in the opposition, a really good team. Not a team that pomposetting with selfies and run around doing helter skelter. A real competent team to confront this corrupt PPP regime in the next general and regional elections. People are tired of the PPP regime, the criminal PPP regime. That is what they are. They're not about nation building. They're not about patriotism. It's all about corruption. And so they sent some policemen all the way to the United States of America to confront Burke, to brackle him and push a summons in his face. Toss a summons in his face or two or whatever according to their reports. But Burke has already said that he's going to issue a statement on the matter. But what is of interest though, hear how the Paku, acting commissioner of police, hear what he says here in the police report about Burke and so forth. But at the bottom, this is what these Pakus in the Guyana police force Some of them are part and parcel of drug lords, hit squads, death squads, money launderers. That's how they survive. Some of these senior police officers, that's how they survive in Guyana. But this is what the police report says here. And people are supposed to run and tremble. But hear what they said. Finally, the Guyana police force wishes to make it known that a similar course of action will be adopted against persons who are outside of the jurisdiction and engage in criminal conduct. Criminal conduct. For them, criminal conduct is speaking out against the PPP regime. It is a dangerous route that the only set of people that it will backfire on is the PPP. Those in the higher echelons of the PPP, it will backfire on them. Because remember, lots of indictments are sitting in the Department of Justice waiting to be sent to Guyana for the friends and cronies of the PPP regime to be extradited to the United States of America. And the only impediment right now from signing off on those warrants is the PPP. That is what. But shh, for now. Shh, for now. So they're not scaring anybody off with that. They're not. Not at all. So this guy who doesn't know the difference between 83 and 83,000 square miles can just pack up his bag and go as far as where the sun doesn't shine. And Guyana will be a better place. If all of them just pack up and leave Guyana somewhere, somehow, I don't know, they need to go.
I've lived in Guyana and I've attended multilateral school. And for my primary days in school to secondary school, I've learned and I've understood that Guyana covers 83 square miles of landmass. I didn't hear that. Square miles, I said that. I said 83,000 square miles.
He said 83 square miles, right? He said 83,000 square miles. Why y'all saying the man said 83 square miles? Why y'all saying that? On this matter of violating citizens' rights, of freedom of speech, of freedom of expression, it is as though you can't speak unless you speak in favor of the PPPC. The opposition needs to address this particular issue, but the violations of people's constitutional rights, the freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and freedom of association. These are things that in a recent meeting with the Organization of American States, they pointed out these things to those members, that those freedoms are under threat in Guyana. They are under threat in Guyana. And if not confronted legally, it is going to get out of hand. And Guyana will become a Wild West country that cannot be contained. We've got to stop it before it gets to that point. No one wants it to get there because no one benefits. It doesn't matter your ethnicity, it doesn't matter your political affiliation. No one benefits. The PPP is leading Guyana down the wrong path. We've all got to stand up and ensure our voices are heard. It is our constitutional right. Whether you live in Guyana, you have a constitutional right to freedom of expression, freedom to assemble, freedom of association. And whether you live in the United States of America, there is that freedom as well. To the First Amendment, freedom of speech. Whether the PPP likes it or not. It is okay to say to the PPP, go to hell. They're not the only ones can tell people that. You can say it too. We can say it too. But I enjoy my freedom right here in the US. And were I in Guyana, I would have been enjoying my freedom there as well. Freedom of expression. Don't ever allow anybody to take that away from you. And that is what the PPP wants to do. They want to take your freedoms away from you. Freedom of expression, freedom of association, freedom to be part of a political party, a political group. You must not speak. Remember when Irfan Ali was in Buxton, he turned to David Hines and insulted David Hines. Who is he? Whatever term he used. Turned to a young man and say, you don't know who I is. You don't know me. The same Irfan Ali went in front of Pegasus with a bunch of thugs. Included in that group is the speaker, that guy who sits there as Speaker of the National Assembly. But no, people mustn't talk. People mustn't say nothing. We must just come right here and sing. Whether we sing Chowtal, we sing Chutney, we sing Yellow Man, or we sing them other guys would have sing. Crazy, Calypso, and whatever we sing. Whatever it is, that's all they want us to do. We mustn't talk. We mustn't say nothing. We must beat drums and sing. Charal kitao balama, chodadia chagal kitao balama, tilinagite mesohe pahina. You sing and they love you. They love you. Or sing a Terry Gadrach for them, Mami Bele Roti Daddy Chunky. They love you. Mark one goodbye. Oh, bye-bye. Robbie head hunting and give me roti. I mean, eat a roti and me chat in my hand. Oh, that'll be bye. But you tell them that they're corrupt. You tell them that they're criminals. You tell them that, including those who want little business, and we see them, we know who they are. They want a little business in Guyana, and so they're sucking up to the PPP right now. They get one of them, Katahar, right here on this program, sucking up to the PPP because they want a little contract. That is how those Katahars operate. And we throw them in the trench. That is how they operate. Anyways, I'm out of here for tonight. And they want everybody to clap hand, hug Matty, and sing the song. Oh, not me. No, not me. I'd rather be a puppy. All right, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. So long. God bless you, and continue to pray for that beautiful, beautiful country called Guyana. It's a sad state. It's a dark, dark, dark tunnel right now in Guyana under the corrupt PPP regime. So long.
Yeah, my name is Jacinti Caldata, Francis Vietnam, and since 1965, I become a voter. And I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
Oh, Jesus Christ. If cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
With another one, straight up, blackness I am. Aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Ben stop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Ben stop, registration is the truth. Mark Ben stop, straight up from the root. Mark Ben stop, who tell the truth? Mark Ben stop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Ben stop, registration is the truth. Mark Ben stop, straight up from the root. Mark Ben stop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Ben Scott stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. It's definitely the dumb contact, the criminal walk. Who tell the truth? Mark Ben Scott, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Ben Scott, registration is the truth. Mark Ben Scott, straight up from the root.